Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be back with you all ready for another DRSONO unboxing and demo. But before I get into that, I do want to share a little bit of a personal update. I have officially passed my adult echocardiography board. You guys, I am so excited. I studied for that board for about 2 months. It was not easy, but I love echo. I love the challenge of it, and I'm really glad to have that under my belt. That's my first specialty board down, and now I'm going to be studying for my abdomen, OBGYN, and then for vascular. So I will keep you updated as things go along. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram if you want more daily updates, and let's get into today's video. So last time I showed you guys their Convex Pro probe, and today I'm going to be showing you DRSONO's TriScan Max, which is super exciting. So this probe is going to be perfect for scanning abdomen, thyroid, breast, scrotum, and then vascular and arterial, as well as echocardiography. Let's get into the unboxing. Again, I love how DRSONO packages their products. It comes with this really nice carrying bag, which is very sturdy and like has a hard shell on the outside, so you know that everything in there is protected, and then of course going to be protected from the elements as well, so you don't have to worry as much about water and humidity and heat. I love that. The first thing that we're going to look at, of course, is the probe. So we have the curved side, which is going to be perfect for abdomen and OBGYN. It actually turns into a phased array so that you can also scan echo. And then we also have the linear side, which we can use for things like small parts, which include thyroid, breast, scrotum, as well as arterial and venous, so like lower extremity venous or arterial, and then carotids. So this is a very cool sort of all-in-one probe that you can look for if you are interested in opening your own business, or if you are a private practice and you need something quick that you can just check patients with. I love that this has so many capabilities. The next thing we're going to see in the case is the little stand that comes to hold your phone or your iPad or whatever you are viewing your anatomy on, so that you can obviously control your image and optimize things. It's just perfect so that you don't have to hold too many things. It opens and it adjusts to different sizes, and you can rest your device on that and do your work there. And then the last thing that is really cool about this one, it actually comes with a charging station. You're gonna see the little charging station that is just kind of like a charging pad, and you rest it down on your desk and workspace, and then you plug in the charger. What's super cool about it is you just rest the probe on there and immediately it starts charging. So you don't have to like fumble with it too much. You set it up once, and then in between patients you can just rest your probe down on it, and boom, it's gonna generate more charge. I love that. It's so hands-free, and it just keeps the day moving a little bit faster. And then the last thing that's in this case is going to be our user manual, which of course is very detailed. It tells you how to set up the probe, how to connect it to Wi-Fi and work with the app, so that you can see the images on the screen and then troubleshoot if you have any issues. It's very thorough. I'm pretty sure everything is in there you can think of. So that is everything that comes inside of the case. It is very compact, it's very protected. I love it. And now what I want to show you guys is how you actually set up the probe with the free app, so that you can use it and start scanning. So the app that you'll need, like I said, is completely free, and it's called Wireless USG. You just go to the App Store, download it. This app is also compatible with Windows, Android, and iOS devices. The first thing you're going to want to do is turn the product on, which you're going to use this button here, which is also the freeze button. So we'll turn that on real quick, and we can see the device is on and not fully charged. So this right here is going to be our wireless function. So that's how we know that it's ready and it's looking to connect to internet. Now I'm going to look for this number here on the back of the probe, and this is what I'm going to use to identify the internet that I'm looking for on my phone, and it's also going to be the password that I use to log on to that internet. This is already turned on. I'm gonna pick up my phone and then go to the settings. Next, you're going to look for the Wi-Fi connection that matches this right here. Click it. Then you're gonna use these last digits here, excluding the SN or whatever yours says, to sign on to that Wi-Fi. And now that I've opened this app, I am fully connected. Here, I'll show you that I'm connected by using a little bit of gel, placing it on my probe like I'm about to scan. And you can see it's ready. So the next thing, like I've mentioned, that is really cool about this probe is it comes with a curved side and it comes with a linear side. And you're probably wondering, how do I toggle back and forth between those two? It's actually really simple. Here, you're going to use your button that you're going to use for on and off, for power, and of course for freezing. But you're just going to hold it down and the light is going to switch from one side to the other. And that's how we know now we're on our linear side. We can do that again. Now we're on our curved side. So now I'm going to share my screen with you on my phone so you can see what I'm playing with in the app. I have switched back to the linear side. I'm going to just click the top where it says thyroid, and that's going to show you all of the exams that are going to be perfect for this probe. So it starts with thyroid, and then it can also do small parts, which includes testicular, breast, and then also pediatrics, vascular, carotid, breast, MSK, and nerve. Super cool. So you can click each one of these presets to sort of optimize your image for what you're going to be scanning. I clicked thyroid, so now at the bottom here you can see our dynamic range is right here. Focus, we can move. If you look at the side of the screen, it is going up and down. Here we have B mode and M mode, which is really cool. And then color. Obviously I'm not scanning anything right now, but if I did, you would see the color on the screen. I'm just going through it. And then here we can play with our pulse wave. So I am just manually dragging my sample gate at any point on the screen. And this is where we're gonna get our waveform. Maybe if you're not familiar, you use pulse wave like with vascular to check the waveform and see how the hemodynamics and the blood is moving through the vessel. Now that we are on pulse wave, I can click the steer button. Here I'm changing the angle of the sample. You want it obviously to be as parallel to the flow as possible. So here you can play with that. My PRF is my scale. So I can change the scale with this button right here, which you see it moving on the side, getting larger and smaller. My depth is right here. You can see the screen is changing the depth of the anatomy that it's going to show me. And here I can play with my baseline as well. Move it up or down so that I can see flow that is above the baseline, flow that's below the baseline. And then on the bottom, I've got my gain. I can raise it, I can lower it with this button here. And then of course I can freeze on my screen, or I can use the probe. So I'm just gonna click it and it will unfreeze. I'm gonna click it again, freeze. And then here, once things are frozen, we can measure. And this is all of our options here for our measurements. And then of course, we can put in our patient info as well by clicking the patient button on the side. That's a little bit of a brief overview of what this app can do. And I think it's really thorough, which is very awesome. It reminds me of all of the machines that I'm used to working on at clinic. It has the same functions that I'm used to looking for. Even though that was a brief overview, I am going to do another video that is a more in-depth sort of demo tutorial on scanning that's going to go even more depth into all of this stuff. So stay tuned for that if you want to see more. But before I leave today, I am just going to scan myself really quickly. I'll show you a little bit of thyroid and my carotid, just to let you see a vibe of how this works, and then you can check out my other video if you want a more in-depth scanning tutorial. I will warn you, I have an ugly thyroid. Okay, it's not picture perfect. My husband has a beautiful thyroid. Mine, don't be alarmed. It is so weird to scan yourself. Like, I'm like, which way is my indicator? I'm so used to being on this side of the probe that like being on this side is kind of weird. Anyway, so here on the screen, we can see my thyroid. You can see I have like a lot of little tiny nodules on there. It's perfectly fine. I've already gotten it checked out. There's nothing to be worried about. But there you go. There is my thyroid, and you can see my trachea and the esophagus in the middle there casting that shadow. And then here I'm in transverse and I'm going to my right lobe. You can see right there where my carotid and my jugular is. Veins collapse, arteries do not. So when I push, there's my vein collapsing. And the artery is still right there. So that's my carotid, and that's my jugular. And then if you're not familiar with this anatomy and what you're looking at, first of all, let me decrease my depth a little. Not that much. There we go. If you're not familiar with the anatomy, the thyroid gland is the, I'm wanting to use sonographic terms, echogenic, meaning bright tissue that you see in this like sort of a U shape that bright thing, that is the thyroid. And I'm scanning through this transverse plane right here. So I'm going to start off superiorly, meaning up toward the head. And if I were to be doing a thyroid exam, I would just go lower and I would take this picture. The little part at the top that you see connecting like a bridge, that's the isthmus of the thyroid going over my esophagus right here. This little boop. The thyroid goes up like that. Not that big, but that's the shape. So that's what you're seeing there. I'm going to start again. I'm going to go back to my right lobe. There we have our landmarks. We have our jugular, it's collapsing, my thyroid. We are in transverse. Like I said, it's weird scanning yourself, okay? Okay, so we're gonna start off superiorly. We're gonna stop right there, we take a picture. Go a little lower, stop right there, take a picture. Till we get to mid. Just for fun, I'm gonna throw some color on here. Okay, that color that you see is blood. That is the movement of fluid, and it can pick up any movement. So you'll see as I move the probe around, the color's going crazy. When you have a steadier hand, you're really just picking up the blood flow. The colors is the direction of the flow. So blue in this case, because of the way the color box is set up, blue is below the baseline, red is above the baseline. So that blood flow that's below the baseline in blue is moving away from the probe, and then the blood flow in red above the baseline is moving toward the probe. So this is how we can tell directionally what is happening. And I'm in transverse right now, meaning I'm slicing my vessels. If this was my vessel going straight up, I'm slicing it, this is so hard to do, I'm slicing it this way to show you that little circle. But if I were to follow in long the flow of that vessel and open it up, now I'm following it in its long form. Here, this is in sagittal, and I opened it up. There you go, that's the whole vessel. That's my jugular. As we can see, she's collapsing good. And then I'm going to pan away from my jugular, and there's my carotid. So now we're going to go back in transverse, which is just another plane of the same anatomy. Everything is backwards. When you're scanning yourself, everything is backwards. And I'm going to move back to my thyroid. Let's take color off. Back in B mode. We're kind of at the mid-level here, so this is where we would pause. Let's do that. I paused it. And here we can take a little bit of a measurement. We're going to take the width of my thyroid. We got 9.8 millimeters. Let's clear that and keep on going. I'm going more inferior, meaning more toward the feet. Scanning all the way through, and this is how we cut the anatomy up, the organs or the glands that we're looking at in all planes, to get sort of a 3D image in our head of what's going on, if there's any pathology, where it is relationally, what the blood flow looks like. So that was that plane. And now we're gonna go from transverse to sagittal. And I'm gonna go long ways on this gland and open it up, similarly to how I did on my carotid. And there is my thyroid in long. Okay? You can see it moves as I talk or swallow. Here we're gonna go laterally to medially. Laterally meaning toward the outside, medially meaning toward the middle. So we're starting outward this way, and that's where you see my carotid as my landmark, and I'm gonna move more medially. So first image is right there. This is the first part of my thyroid that we see. Okay, this is somewhat of like the midsection of my thyroid. It's kind of hard to talk and do this, as you can see on the screen. Everything's bouncing around. Okay, it's making me laugh. I have to. And then we're gonna keep scanning more medially. There, until we see this part right here. Scan all the way through. We can take our measurements. As you saw, we can throw color on there. And that's as simple as it is. I mean, that is just a really brief tutorial. That is one exam, not even, that's one half of an exam that I showed you. And there's so much more that you can do with sonography, with a probe like this, with an app like this. Let me clean up and then I'll come back. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was super fun getting to do a little bit of scanning with you, but as I said, I'm going to be doing another video with more in-depth scanning, showing you a couple different exams and how we're using this app to obtain them. This is super fun to me. As you know, I love DRSONO's products. I think that they are amazing and they are affordable for the amazing quality that you're able to get and have in your pocket wirelessly on the go. I mean, you can scan with this thing for like up to 5 hours straight and it will hold its charge. And then you saw how easy it is to continue charging in between patients. You just rest it down, go about your paperwork, call in your next patient, and it's ready to go again. So I love that. I love these products. I definitely think you should check them out if you're interested in starting your own side business as a sonographer, or if you're a private practice and you just want something in your pocket that you can pull out at any time and check on your own. Definitely check out DRSONO. If you haven't seen my other video where I did their Convex Pro only, you can check that one out as well. I will link it. But that is it for today's video. The last thing I want to show you is how I'm going to turn this off, which is, again, very easy. So as I mentioned, when you hold it down, the light is going to shift from whatever side of the probe you're on to the next, and then if you keep holding it down after that, it will turn off. So right now we're on linear. I'm going to hold it down. It's going to switch to the curved side. There you go. And then I'm going to keep holding it and it's powered off. And then you will rest it down on the charger, go type up your paperwork, and then come back for your next patient. How cool is that? So I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay tuned if you want to see more scanning, and let me know your thoughts below. If you're interested in sonography, are you in sonography school? Are you a private practice? Do you want to open your own business? What are your thoughts? How would you use this probe? I will see you guys in the next video.